Hi everyone, this is Sonja and welcome to my channel, Sonja on Being 60. Today, I thought we would talk about goal setting, but before we get into talking about that, I thought I just wanted to touch base and see how you've been doing with with our challenge number 2. So our challenge number 2 was to do yoga, 10 minutes of yoga every day. How have you been finding that? I have found a really great yoga channel, Yoga with Cassandra. She has tons of 10-minute yogas. I will put her link to her channel in the description below. It's great. It's 10 minutes. Do some gentle stretching. You're just doing a few basic yoga moves. I think it's a really great way to be introduced to yoga and a really great way to start doing some of that stretching. Boy, let me tell you, just after a couple of days, I really noticed that really how inflexible I am. I thought I was pretty good because I do stretching for, biking and running, but I have a long ways to go. And I think by starting now, I'll just gain that flexibility and it will come back to me. And the other part of the challenge was to make a to-do list, things that you have been wanting to do and say you want to do, but for whatever reason you haven't tackled it. Maybe it's, painting the bathroom. Maybe it's getting back to sewing or quilting or knitting or crocheting, or maybe it's doing that puzzle that you started and just haven't finished. So how have you been able to do that? Put together a list of things, and my suggestion was to choose one per week. Just do one, and I think it just really gives a really good sense of accomplishment. In fact, and for myself, I've chosen like 3 things. See if I get 3 done, but I have completed one. And one of those things was, and I've been saying, I want to go take all my pictures, my documents from my old laptop, from my current laptop, from all the little memory sticks I have, and put them all on my external hard drive. And yay, I got that done this week. I am proud of myself and giving myself a pat on the back. I really felt a sense of accomplishment in doing that. So I hope you have found some things to do and that you will continue this for the next week. So let's switch over to what it was that I wanted to talk about today, which is goal setting. Now, might seem kind of a strange time of year to talk about goal setting. I mean, typically, I think a lot of us will do our goals come January 1st. It's a New Year's resolution, it's a new year, new beginnings, and we'll say we want to do all these things that we haven't gotten around to doing that we've wanted to do. So I wanted to talk about it now because I feel like let's kind of get ahead of the curve. Let's get prepared for when we want to make those resolutions. Now, some people do make them, some people don't, but I do know, doing some research, that typically people who make New Year's resolutions, 80% of them fail. I think we all see it, like if you're a gym goer, when we used to be able to go to the gyms, come January 1st, all of a sudden there's this influx of all these people. And I would always joke with my friends, they'll be here for a month and then it'll get back to normal. We'll, have the place to ourselves again. And sure enough, come the end of January, the vast majority of those people who started in January had already quit. So by starting now and thinking about goals in terms of, I think everybody has goals that they want to achieve. Maybe you want to lose some weight. Maybe you want to save some money to go traveling. Maybe it's something you don't want to do. For example, in my case, I don't want to gain 10 pounds in December like I normally do because of all the parties and the overeating. So I figure I should set a goal for that. But as I just alluded to earlier, so many people start out, they have a goal, they want to do something, but it just doesn't work. And really it comes down to that a goal without a plan is just a wish. If you just say, I want to do something, you're just wishing to do it. You're not doing anything that concretely will get you there. So that's why I'd like to talk a bit about kind of a technique that I'm sure many of you have heard of, and maybe you use as well. And it's called the SMART technique, or the SMART process. So what this means is that your goals are specific. So that means that the goal is well defined, that you know exactly what it is that you want to do. The goal is measurable. You write down, like, how are you going to do the goal? What does success look like? It's attainable. You know, it's not some goal that is so far out of reach that you'll never achieve it. It's something that really is realistic. It's relevant. It's, you know, you ask yourself the question, why do you want to do this? It means something to you. It's a goal that you set out for yourself. It's not because somebody else is doing it, or, you know, you're getting on some bandwagon. It's because you truly want to do it. And it's time bound, which means that there's a deadline. Just to say, I want to get in shape without having a timeline, it's never going to happen. So having goals and following these steps will really give you focus. It also lets you know that you're succeeding. Like if you've set a goal, and then you set the incremental things that you're doing to know that you're being successful, you will be a success. And the goal also has to be motivating to you. It can't be somebody else's goal. It truly has to be something that you want to do. So let me give you a concrete example of how using the SMART principles can work. My son, Patrick, he's 27. 5 years ago, he decided he wanted to lose weight. Now, my son is very tall. He's 6'8". He's always been a big boy. Like, he's never been a skinny kid, but and maybe it's just a mother's bias, I never thought of my son as being like truly overweight. I thought, oh yeah, maybe he could lose a few pounds, but you know, I never thought that he was really overweight. So when he was 22, he decided that he wanted to lose weight. And the reason he wanted to lose weight was he was tired of going to stores where he could not find nice clothing that fit him. It was all blah. And if he did go to, you know, kind of the big and tall store, sure, they had some nice things, but it was very pricey. And, you know, as a young man just starting in the workforce, it wasn't necessarily something that he could afford. So he wanted to be able to buy clothes in a normal store, which still does have its challenges given his height, but nonetheless, he felt that if he lost weight, he would be able to find clothing that would fit. As well, starting his first real full-time job, he wanted to look good. He really wanted to look good at work. He wanted to feel good about himself. He told me that he was tired of not feeling good about himself. So he had a specific goal in mind, which was to lose weight. But it's more than that. He wanted to lose 100 pounds. And he knew that, and I have to say, I was like, wow, I don't really think you have 100 pounds to lose, but you know, he had figured it out and he felt that that's what he needed to lose. And he was very specific about what he wanted to do. And he knew the steps that he was going to take to ensure that he could do this. So he said, I'm going to do like weekly weigh-ins. He's going to start meal prepping. You know, do all his lunches and his breakfasts and cook dinners kind of on a Sunday. So he had his food for the week. So he was really thinking and planning about what he was going to eat all week. He told people, he told me, he told his father, he told his sister, he told friends, he told people that this is what he was doing. sometimes it's in the telling to someone, you feel accountable, which is a really important piece of, I feel, of being successful in your goals, is you're accountable. You've told people you don't want to let them down, and you don't want to fail yourself. So he had a number of things that he was doing that would show him success. But every week while preparing healthy meals, that was success. That was, 20 odd meals that weren't junk food. He also decided that he would learn how to cook. So he didn't know how to cook. He could cook basic things, but he really was not a cook. And I have to say, over the years, he has become an amazing, amazing cook. And he also decided that he was going to treat himself. Maybe once a week, he would go out with his colleagues for a lunch. So he never felt deprived. And by giving himself a year to do it, it was very achievable. He didn't say, I'm going to lose 100 pounds in 2 months. No, that would not be realistic. So his losing 100 pounds over a year equals to about 2 pounds a week. That's very achievable. Very, very achievable. So he really set himself up for success. He followed all of the steps that we just talked about with the SMART principle. And at the end of that year, he lost 100 pounds. He was successful. And he's been successful ever since. He's kept that weight off. He has done a fantastic job of maintaining it. And, he's come up with a way of eating for himself that's healthy, that suits his lifestyle, that doesn't deprive him, but at the same time, it's healthy. And, and he's also incorporated some exercise into that. But really, it was all about changing habits, changing his mindset about food, changing how he looked at food, starting to making more healthy choices and that kind of thing. So it's really something that putting these principles into practice is really something that works and that you will have success. So, if you have your goals and then you have your commitment to those goals, all of your dreams, all of your wishes are going to come true. But you have to have a plan. As the old saying goes, fail to plan, plan to fail. So you really do need that plan, and that is what is going to give you success. So, in looking forward, if you do have any goals in mind, I do encourage you to try this process and to see how it will work for you. I think it's a great process. And sometimes, now, it's back in my head. If I want to set a goal, there's just certain steps I take. Next year, I'll probably have some running goals. And I know that if I want to run a marathon, let's say, in a certain time, there are steps that I'm going to have to take in order to be successful. And I'll kind of do that intuitively, because I think over time, as you get used to following a process like this, it becomes intuitive to you and you're just able to do it. But again, goes all back to setting the goals, making sure they're realistic, having ways to measure your success, and it's realistic, and you have some time, you have a time frame in which you're going to do it. So I wish you all success with any goals that you may be reaching or tackling. I know for myself, my one goal will be not to gain weight during the holiday season. Because I want to go back into January not having to lose weight, just keep on the old, being healthy and what have you. So good luck with continuing this week's challenge. We'll have a new challenge coming up next week. So if you've liked this video, please hit the like button. And if you'd like to receive notifications when the next video comes out, please hit the subscribe button. Until next week, this is Sonja on Being 60. Bye now.